Mr. President, Section 5 in this bill is a ban on felons ever serving on a board or commission in Alaska. The language present in this simple board sunset renewal bill deserves to be removed, and I'll explain why. There are three specific reasons. Mr. President, the definition for felonies involving moral turpitude is very broad. I'm going to give you two examples. One word that is one category which is a felony involving moral turpitude is theft. In the second degree, this means stealing something of a value more than $500. This becomes a Class C felony. Another category, criminal mischief. This means damaging something in value more than $500 or more in damages. Again, a Class C felony. So a kid stealing a snowboard or a miffed girlfriend damaging an ex-boyfriend's car could qualify as second-degree felony convictions. This would ban them from ever serving on a board or commission in Alaska, even 20 years later, after they've grown up and matured. This should not be the case, Mr. President. We need to allow individuals to have rehabilitated themselves. There are actually two boards, Mr. President, that require folks that have issues with behavior to serve on those boards. One example, the Alaska Juvenile Justice Advisory Committee requires at least 3 members shall have been or shall currently be under the jurisdiction of the juvenile justice system. Or there's the Advisory Board for Alcohol and Drug Abuse. This 15-member board requires that 4 members are chronic alcoholics with psychoses who are recovering. Honestly, as you look at these two boards, Mr. President, I believe that it's quite likely that these members of the boards could have committed a felony. For example, under the definition of moral turpitude, misconduct involving a controlled substance or an imitation controlled substance. It's a very broad category. But we know, Mr. President, that these two boards have rehabilitated people on them. And this is why. Mr. President, there are requirements for serving on a board or commission. And if I may, Mr. President, this is actually found in statute. There are just 2 sentences I want to read from statute.
Without objection, Senator Giessel.
The qualifications for appointment to a board or commission, section AS 3905-100. The person must be a registered voter in the state if the appointment is made at large, or number 2, a registered voter from the judicial district if the appointment is being made for a specific judicial district. So they need to be a registered voter. In order to be a registered voter, Mr. President, again, in Alaska statute, if I may read,
Without objection, Senator Giessel.
AS 1505030, loss and restoration of voting rights. A person convicted of a crime that constitutes a felony involving moral turpitude under state or federal law may not vote in the state, federal, or municipal election from the date of conviction through the date of unconditional discharge of that person. Upon unconditional discharge, the person may register. Mr. President, this speaks to rehabilitation. Unconditional discharge means that the person has served their jail time, completed probation and parole, and is now done with their punishment. They may not only vote, Mr. President, but they may serve on a jury, even a grand jury. Service on a grand jury, or even a simple jury, Mr. President, gives this individual, a rehabilitated felon, the power to take away another person's liberty through the process of incarceration, finding them guilty and incarcerating them. I believe, Mr. President, that boards and commissions do make weighty decisions, but nothing as weighty as a juror. These people have been restored. So you can see, Mr. President, this felony language should not be in a board sunset bill. It's a public policy issue, and it deserves the diligent and informed scrutiny of legislators serving on the Judiciary Committee, many of whom are attorneys and understand these issues. Mr. President, this phrase, Section 5, should have been in a separate bill and does not fit into this simple board renewal. So I urge a yes vote to remove it from this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Giessel.